Oh, what do we have here? Today we have killer wife has no idea, cops know her dirty secret. Ooh. Thank you guys for tuning in, and without further ado, let's get it!
7:26 p.m., a couple of hours before dark on Wednesday, June the 23rd, 2020.
Y'all know what time it is when I got this out, right? It's finna be a good one.
When deputies from a local sheriff's office were dispatched to a 911 call reporting an accidental shooting. They arrive at 3410 Tommy Lee Cook Road, just outside of Newman, the county seat. It's a nice place, set back and shielded from the road by a dense wooded area. The nice home features a detached multi-bay garage and workshop, as well as a large swimming pool. It is a private sanctuary
they got some money
for a successful couple in their late 40s and early 50s. But on this night, something has broken loose, and deputies are walking in on a scene that doesn't make sense right off the bat.
I didn't either. Something about gun went off. Sheriff's office!
Sheriff's office!
We're here.
We're in the master bedroom.
All right.
Okay.
Usually when the wife yelling like that, she the one that did it.
Officers here.
18291, I need EMS 1018.
Please don't hurry. He needs a chest tube.
Negative.
He needs a chest tube in his left lung.
Inside the home, they find Cheryl and Luke Coe, and they are in a desperate strait. Luke is naked on the floor, while Cheryl, his wife, is holding a towel to a bullet wound in the man's side. As deputies move in to lend assistance, EMTs and an ambulance arrive moments later.
The bullet's lodged in his lung.
Give me a chest seal.
He's having a hard time breathing already.
Tell me your ears.
No shit, Sherlock.
Go through and through it. Just went in. Huh? 9mm. It's over there.
I ain't worried about it. I just want to know what size hole.
Yep.
All right, ma'am. This way, ma'am.
Luke is in bad shape, and he has lost a lot of blood. A 9mm bullet has pierced his left lung and lodged into his chest, dumping all of its energy into his body cavity, causing what would prove to be a fatal injury. Luke would struggle to sit up a couple of times in a desperate attempt to catch his breath before his lifeblood would pour out on the floor of the home's master bedroom. He would die without ever leaving that room. Outside the bedroom, his wife would try to explain to the law enforcement officers what had happened.
Well, we're going to go in here and sit down, okay? Yep.
Oh, God.
We're going to go in here and sit down, okay?
Hey, buddy. Hey.
Please. Please, God. Please.
Come out here, okay? Let's
It always baffles me when the wives kill a husband and a spouse just kill a significant other, and then they talk about some, please, God, help me, and they be crying. Hey, how can you sit there and say that when you just literally are the cause of this? Why y'all be shooting him in the chest? You could have shot him in the knee, the thigh. But instead, y'all want to go for the most vital organ. I don't be understanding that shit. That's not love. If somebody got to shoot you, they don't love you, baby. Run.
You just have a seat right here for me. Have a seat. He's in good hands, man. All right, ma'am, can you tell me what happened?
He in God's hands now.
He was out in the shop. He'd been in the shop since I got home.
Okay.
I had 5 Angry Orchards sitting out on the back porch by myself.
Okay.
I went to bed. I took my medicine before I went to bed. He came in yelling, and I grabbed the gun off from the nightstand and started shooting because I was scared.
You were scared of him?
And no, I didn't know who it was.
Okay.
I didn't know who had come in. I just knew somebody had come in the house yelling.
You lying. You're not lying. It's bigger than that. It's just you and him out there. Nah.
I wish our doors open.
She lying. And we gonna get to
Oh my God.
we gonna get to the bottom of it, y'all. We gonna get to the bottom of it.
Come on, we're gonna walk right out here, okay? Come on. We're gonna walk right out here. All right. This seat right here, okay? You want to have a seat right there.
Crazy.
The deputies take Cheryl outside and away from the bedroom. Once at the driveway, she collapses and sits down, braced up against the wheel of her husband's truck in the driveway.
What's going on? What's he?
No clue, ma'am.
Oh, God, please. Oh, God, please help me.
Yo, I going to jail.
Ma'am, your guess is as good as mine.
Please. I'm so slow.
Ma'am, look at me. I've been out here with you this whole time, right? Okay, so let them do their job.
In other words, shut your ass up.
He's my whole world.
Say it again.
He's my whole world. Why are they all out here?
I'm here with you. Hold on. Hey.
Come in with me.
No, we can't go in. We can't go in.
Why the hell
We
are you?
cannot go in.
Oh, yeah.
We can't go in, okay?
Oh, God, please.
Why don't you just have a seat over here?
Please.
Just have a seat.
Oh, please. Why are they all out here?
No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Why are they all
Come on.
out here? Where is he?
You want a chair?
No. I just want to know what's going on with my husband.
You shot him.
No, I don't.
There's an admission that alcohol might have fueled the incident, perhaps coupled with medications she'd been taking. Could she have mistaken her husband for an intruder? It's still daylight on this June evening, and officers on the scene would include in their reports that even though the bedroom did have blackout curtains for the windows, those curtains hadn't been drawn and the room was well lit with natural light and from the television that was on but muted in the room. And why was Luke naked? There were more questions than answers at this point, and what they had wasn't adding up.
So she had about 5 or 6 beers sitting on the back porch. He's was out in the shop. She had taken her medicine and laid down. He came in yelling about something, and she scared her, so she grabbed the gun and shot. But that doesn't explain why he's nude, and it doesn't explain anything.
That part.
It makes no sense to me.
Back with Cheryl in the driveway, the faces of the officers tell an awful lot about what they're thinking.
She did it. That's that I did it cry.
I haven't come out here yet. Why haven't
Well,
they come out here with him?
if you don't sit down, we're going to have to sit you in a car since you're not listening, okay? We don't want to do that, so you need to chill out here, okay?
The deputies eventually bring Cheryl up to the front porch of the house so she can have a seat and they can speak with her more directly. Detective Shauna Wade from the sheriff's office and Deputy Coroner Gary Stalling try to get her to recount what happened on this day leading up to the
Shauna
shooting.
don't look like she don't play.
My name's Gary, okay? I'm with the coroner's office, okay? And this is Shauna. She's with the sheriff's office. Listen to me, hon. You need to listen to me. Sit up. We know what's going on already, okay? So, okay, tell me what happened this evening. Just start with where
The coroner's office pull up, that mean they there, right?
where were you before
Right.
you saw him?
I came home from work.
Uh-huh.
He was out in the shop. His son was here. They were out working on his panhead.
And then what happened?
He and I have not really talked since yesterday.
Were y'all fighting?
We had a disagreement.
Okay.
He came home while I was on the porch yesterday, took his bike and loaded off and went away. And he didn't come home till sometime after midnight. I don't know when.
Last night?
And I had my gun on the nightstand because I was here by myself. Both of the kids have moved out. and I'm here by myself, and I don't even know if we have a key to these doors. He doesn't believe in locking doors.
It might seem strange to leave your home unlocked and not know if there were even keys to the place, but that wouldn't be the only thing left open
That don't make sense at all. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like the doors locked?
in the Co's relationship that could lead to problems.
And
You don't keep this door locked at
no,
all?
not at all. He said he doesn't believe in it, so I don't even know where the keys are. I don't even know if we have a key to the house. So we were going to talk tonight, but he stayed out in the
What were y'all
shop.
disagreeing about?
There is a secret that the two have been keeping. Cheryl pauses for a moment, internally weighing whether to come forward with it or to continue to plow on with her story of what happened while leaving out the reason why. It might seem strange to leave your home unlocked and not know if there were even keys to the place, but that wouldn't be the only thing left open in the Co's relationship that could lead to problems.
Damn!
And
You don't keep this door locked at all?
no, not at all. He said he doesn't believe in it, so I don't even know where the keys are. I don't even know if we have a key to the house. So we were going to talk tonight, but he stayed out in the
What were y'all
shop.
disagreeing about?
We were disagreeing about something yesterday that had occurred, that has occurred before.
What? With somebody else? Somebody else involved?
Not particularly.
Okay.
So we hadn't talked. We didn't talk. He was asleep this morning when I left for work. We didn't talk all day. And he sent me a text at 3 o'clock and told me he was ready to talk. And I told him I wasn't sure if I was. And that I'd be home when I got home. And maybe we could talk then. He stayed out in the shop when I got home.
I hate when I'm trying to fix some shit. You want to drag this shit out. Oh, I cannot stand that shit. Like, can we talk? Oh, no, I'm not ready to. Lord! That irks my fucking soul.
I came in. I drank several Angry Orchards
What time did you come in?
at about 5:30.
Okay.
I didn't see
I
him.
got you.
I didn't see him when I got home.
Okay.
I heard him and the music playing out there.
I got you.
And his son was here. And his son came in and came to the garage and asked me to put the wild turkey back in the freezer because he had asked for a shot and couldn't find the glass. So I put the wild turkey back in the freezer. I put the groceries up. I went out and I got an Angry Orchard and I sat on the back porch. I always sit on the back porch every day and have a few beers. I have a few Captain Morgan's and Dr. Pepper, or Angry Orchard is what I had tonight. I had those.
That's got to be peaceful.
He was still out in the shop. I decided I needed to go to bed because I have to open tomorrow. And I went in and I took my medicine. He was still out here. I fell asleep. And then I heard somebody come in the door yelling. And I just reached over on my nightstand and grabbed my gun. Because that was the only thing I needed to do.
But why, though, if it's just you and your husband there and his son? You just said him and his son was working on something in the tool shed, right? So why would you need to grab the gun? Why wouldn't you make eye contact with the person that you shot at first before you shoot them to make sure it ain't your husband? Because I don't give a fuck how mad I am at my spouse. I would not want to kill my spouse or my kids.
So you grabbed your gun and then what?
I shot twice. And I figured out it was him after I shot him, and he told me I had shot him.
Did you see him?
The bedroom door was closed. I have blackout curtains on the windows. No.
Was the TV still on at that
The
point?
TV was still on, but I couldn't.
So why didn't you wait to see who it was before you let off a shot?
All the other
Something about this is super fucking off.
the doors
You shaking like a stripper in church, baby. Tighten up. You just did this shit. Stop acting so nervous. Like, come on now.
Is there anybody
About to
else
piss
in
me
there?
off.
No.
At that time, are you sure there's nobody else
No.
here besides the two of you?
It was just the two of us. His son had left a while back. I heard his truck leave, but I was still out on the back porch. And
That's gotta suck too. To just see your dad, spending time with him, working on something, not knowing that this is gonna be the last time you see him, bro. I can only imagine how I would have felt if that would have been my last time seeing my pops. Because me and my pops not close, but me and my pops are close like this, where we working on shit together. He's been in my life. Shh, man.
he was still up in the shop.
And you didn't even care about that, did you? You just was whatever.
The investigators have to let her get her story out. It's becoming obvious there's something she's holding back.
She
But
is.
Until they let her get the rest of the story out of the way, they can't really dig any deeper, especially without being in a situation where she has been apprised of her rights. There's also the possibility that one of the other officers already knows what the secret is. Word travels fast in a small community, and sometimes what appears to be just tawdry gossip turns out to have a kernel of truth. They lead her
Ooh.
back to the confrontation.
Thank God for the officer being a nosy Rosie.
Unlike Cheryl, most of our secrets don't end up in murder, thankfully. All of us, however, have parts of our lives we'd rather...
I do not want to see no goddamn commercial. Sponsorship, whatever.
APN's new tiered plans. Click the link in the description box below.
It was
Next.
all by text message. We never even saw each other.
Huh?
Did you say anything back to him?
After he said that I shot him,
No, when he was yelling.
no, I just grabbed the gun because all I heard was yelling, and I was.
And you didn't know that was him yelling? Y'all been married for so many years? And y'all got kids together? Or do y'all got kids together? And you don't know his yell? You don't know that that's him? I sound like bullshit.
In a day, I was already asleep.
Inside, crews worked to secure the scene, and Luke was pronounced officially dead by the Coweta fire chief, who had
That's crazy.
responded to the 911 call. A 9mm pistol was found in the room and was secured for forensic testing. The scene within the bedroom, as described by the investigating officers, had a few other items of interest. As noted before, even though there were blackout curtains, they had not been drawn. The initial 911 call had been made at 7:26 p.m. Records show that sunset that night wasn't until 8:53 p.m., and full twilight and darkness would not hit the home until 9:22. Cheryl had claimed to have gone to bed at 7:15 p.m., only 11 minutes before calling 911. Could she have fallen asleep in such a short period of time? And
Facts. Like, how do you fall into a deep sleep in like 11 minutes? That's impossible.
entered a deep sleep, so deep that she didn't recognize her husband in what would basically be near full daylight in the room. And wouldn't she have been awakened very quickly upon hearing Luke shouting at her as she claimed? Deputies also noted that on the bed were 2 sex toys, a bottle of personal lubricant, and the bed and floor were
What the hell?
saturated with what
Oh man, lube. That means somebody was trying to go through the back door. But which one was going through the back door?
appeared to be water. Just what had been going on in
Was she squirting?
there?
She's a squirter.
After giving her some time to gather herself, the investigators come back to speak with her on the porch as darkness has now fallen.
What specifically were y'all like arguing about? Was it another female?
Lube and sex toys. Hold on. So did he walk in the room with pleasing herself? Like I'm lost. I want to know.
Was he talking about
I told y'all this was gonna get good though. I ain't even watched it and I knew it was gonna be good.
maybe divorce? Are you talking about divorce? Or did any of that stuff come up?
No.
Okay. Nothing like that.
Can these gentlemen step away?
Yeah.
I knew it. It's about to be something freaky because she got some big knockers.
We live an alternative lifestyle.
What?
Where
Y'all got an open relationship. Y'all swingers.
we're with other couples, other individuals.
Oh, so y'all was having a little swinger session in y'all house. Okay.
And the wrinkle that changes the whole story
So did he get killed by somebody else?
emerges.
So the argument was over one of y'all want to do that, one of you not, or the people that you're with, or what?
Monday I decided that since we went into an open marriage, not the lifestyle, but an open marriage, where he would see other people, I would see other people. Monday we got into an argument about it, and I said, let's just don't do this anymore.
Oh, you fucking up the party now. You just sat there and agreed to it. Now you want to renege. What the hell?
Ever since we started the open marriage, it's been an issue. A misunderstanding. Because I thought he was, because of where I work and because of what I do, I try to keep everything extremely private. And he has misspoken numerous times about the life that we live to people that he doesn't need to talk to about it. He tells people that we're in an, or that he's in an open lifestyle, and then he tries to introduce me to the people. So it's like, it's obvious that I am too, and I don't want that out there.
That is not funny, by the way, but it is.
I told him we needed to talk, and I accused him of stepping over that boundary again, and he got very upset with me. I asked him to send me a snapshot of the conversation. He wouldn't do it. I should have to trust him.
You agreed to it, baby. You sat there and said you was cool with it.
And he's working his way back from that trust.
There are some important distinctions between being swingers and having an open marriage. Swingers have relations with other individuals or couples or even in groups, but they generally do so as a couple themselves. An open marriage, however, while not ruling out swinging as a couple, generally means that the two people involved can seek out and have relations with partners on their own, of their own choosing. In some cases, there's an agreement between the couple that they must get approval from their partner, their spouse, beforehand. Sometimes it's much more open. That being somewhat explained, Cheryl would later tell investigators that she and Luke had met 6 years earlier at a swingers event and struck up a relationship.
Oh, so y'all met being freaky. Okay.
2 years later, they would marry and continue being a part of the lifestyle, even hosting pool parties and swinger events at their
I wouldn't touch nothing in that motherfucking house. Especially, I wouldn't go nowhere near that pool. You couldn't pay me to touch that pool. You put a black light on that motherfucker, it's gonna show everything.
home. What could have flipped the switch from adventurous, loving couple still relatively new in their marriage to this moment in time that could never be taken back? Was it jealousy, anger, or just an accident, as Cheryl had claimed? Was it just a matter of alcohol and medicine clouding her judgment? They seemed to have it all, including the freedom to get more if they wanted it. What had happened?
Right.
The front porch of the home was not the place to get better answers, and Cheryl was brought to the Coweta County Sheriff's Office in Noonan, Georgia for further questioning. They picked back up at the moment of the conflict.
See what happened when you being too freaky and your girl dog ain't cool with it? Acting like she was cool with it, but she wasn't cool with it?
He
Damn.
wasn't really, I mean, he just slammed the door open. I heard thunderous footsteps and then the bedroom door slam open.
Okay. So you're saying that he didn't make a sound, didn't say anything, the door just slung open, and at that point, you reached for your gun.
That's all I mean, at that point I reached for the gun.
Okay. And then you said you fired 2 shots.
I'm obviously not a good aim because I fired once and it hit the ceiling or somewhere. I couldn't even see where
Why would you shoot again if you can't shoot?
it even hit.
Okay. And then the second shot is when?
And I fired the second shot to what I thought was the right of whoever. I thought I'd be hitting the TV more than anything else because I was trying to get attention out there more than anything, and so that he could come in and take care of it because I'm not that good of a shot, and I didn't even until he said, "Cheryl, you shot me."
Outside sources would later tell investigators that it wasn't unusual to hear gunfire at the Coe property, as they often practiced with firearms. Cheryl herself would later state that Luke had taught her to shoot.
Like when you said he would say things he shouldn't. Like he would say...
Well, that's if we were out somewhere. I mean, he had no problem telling anybody, a total stranger, that we were in an open marriage.
My boy was trying to be freaky!
And, I mean, this is the town that I grew up in. We grew up completely differently. He didn't care what anybody thought about him. I did. And so if I was more private about it than he was. And that's when it would kind of cause a problem. Because he talked to anybody about it after he'd had a few extra shots.
What I'm trying to understand is you describe someone opening the door, and when you first spoke to Detective Wade, sort of they flung the door open and was yelling. And so you got that beautiful home with all those windows, and it's still light outside. And so even if you had blackout curtains in your bedroom, the light from all of those windows would have shone through your bedroom window. So then that, coupled with the television being there, a person would recognize their husband of 4 years and the partner of 6, especially if they're speaking, yelling, angry. And earlier you said you fired these 2 shots at this figure, hoping that he would hear you, and come help you in the home. But you've also described... Yes, ma'am, but you said that you fired these shots so that he could hear you out in the shop where he was playing music so loud. And you just described going into the bedroom to a place where you didn't hear the music anymore. And so I'm having trouble making sense of how both you say you couldn't recognize even the silhouette of your husband through the door with all this light to shine through, and who is speaking to you, yelling at you, and then you would fire 2 shots in a room where you say you couldn't hear the music from the shop. Why would he be able to hear gunshots from inside that room? So help me understand that.
Well, I mean, we've had people be able to hear gunshots down the road when we were practicing. So, I mean, I really, honestly, I wasn't thinking it through.
Now investigators circle back to the very compact time frame that her story settles into. Could everything have happened so fast?
Then let me ask you this, because you said you...
I low-key think that they was having a little session and she ain't want no parts of it. She ain't like the dude. And I think that's what I think. What y'all think happened?
To bed at 7:15, correct? Sometime around that. Okay. And you called 911 at 7:26, correct? That's what the call screen says, that you called 911. Okay. So that means that you were asleep for approximately 11 minutes. Okay?
If you fell asleep immediately.
If you fell asleep immediately. So 7:15 to 7:26.
I don't know about y'all, but when I'm tired, baby, I can fall asleep in a minute and be knocked out.
That's 11 minutes for someone to fall asleep so hardly that they don't know what's going on. Or
I mean, she did have 6 beers and she took some type of medicine, so it's possible.
You know, the doors, slung open, and the first thing that you do is reach for your gun and fire off 2 rounds. So
I had had too much to drink.
Okay. So when I talked to you previously, you stated that somebody slung that door open and they were shouting and screaming. And remember, I asked you, you didn't recognize if it was your husband's voice or not. And what did you say? Do you remember what you said to me?
At this point, no, I don't.
Okay. You had said that you were too dazed, and didn't really know who was screaming and yelling or what they were saying. So now you're telling us that somebody slung open the door and didn't say anything until you fired the second shot, and then he said, "You shot me," and then you realized that it was your husband.
She looking like a deer in headlights. She looking like, what the fuck?
So we're just trying to make sense of all of this.
I
And listen, if you all got into an argument or there was something that happened prior to you shooting, let us know. Tell me now so that we can help you.
he came in and swung the door open, and he was yelling at me.
Okay, who? When you say he, who's he?
Like,
Okay.
he was yelling, and throwing things, and grabbed a hold of me and told me if I wasn't going to talk to him that I had to go sleep in the other room, and he was pulling me out of the bed, and I grabbed the gun from the side of the bed and I fired it at the ceiling.
Okay. Was that kind of a warning shot or?
No, that was, I'm scared because he scares me sometimes, especially when he's been drinking. And I don't know whether he's been drinking or not. And that was, they were both supposed to be warning shots. One was at the ceiling and one was at the wall on the other side.
But how did you shoot
I
him?
wasn't trying to hit him.
Had she tried to just scare Luke off with the gunshots, or had she been actively trying to kill him?
I was just trying to hit the wall behind the TV so that it would scare him off or make him leave. He's my best friend.
So why grab a gun? If he was your best friend, he was your lover, y'all met at a swingers party or a swinger, whatever. If he was all of this to you, why would you ever think to grab a gun? I don't care how mad somebody is making you, baby. You don't gotta grab no gun. But I can understand the logic though. You drunk, you done took so many pills. If he's roughhousing you like you say he did, I can understand you're terrified. But at the same time, like what? Like you shouldn't have been you shouldn't even thought to grab no gun like that unless he didn't start beating the shit out you. He done punched on you a little bit, and now it's just like, okay, now we can't, like, you feel me? I don't know.
He's all I have up here. I can't do this without him. And I never meant to do that. Ever meant to do that.
In further talking with investigators, she would tell them that when Luke got aroused, he could become very aggressive, sometimes slapping her hard enough to leave marks. She said that she had gotten used to it over time, and on the night of the incident, he came into the room aggressive at a level she had rarely seen him at, except during rough play in the swimming pool or when they were engaged in or activities. She would explain his nudity that night was him stripping off his clothes dirtied from working on his motorcycle. She too had been naked, as they always slept that way, but she had thrown on a top and shorts quickly after calling 911 while keeping a towel pressed against his gunshot wound. Deputies on the scene would report finding a man's t-shirt.
My boy was just trying to bust a nut and he ended up losing his life. That is some wild shit.
Dripping
Damn, trying to bust a nut. I mean, he went out the way all men hoped they would go out, but he didn't get that nut though.
Sweat on the back
Damn.
porch of the home. After the arrest, the investigation into Luke's death continued. A neighbor that had reported hearing gunshots on the evening of the incident also shared a Facebook post that Cheryl had made just hours before the incident. It read, "I know I don't always say things the right way, do the right things, care, love, show affection the right way, but I'm only human. I make mistakes. I say things in a way that I probably wasn't meaning or didn't understand and don't know how to put it. Everything in life is a battle. Be strong and courageous. Never give up. Love like you know how. God will never put too much on you that you can't handle, especially in times you feel like giving up. I'm only human." Investigators knew that beyond the Facebook post, there would likely be a long electronic trail behind the couple that could explain more of what happened. Warrants were given to search the data on their cell phones and later a number of apps that she used, such as Snapchat and Kik, to communicate with Luke and other men. In addition, an anonymous letter with no return address came to the sheriff's office that said that at a gathering of friends earlier that month, Cheryl had accidentally dumped her purse out in front of everyone. Among the contents were a bottle of personal lubricant and assorted condoms. The letter read that as a married woman in her 50s, Cheryl felt it necessary to...
What? Lube and condoms? Oh, she liked going through the back door. Okay.
To explain that she was in an open marriage and that she slept with a gun under her pillow each night. She said Luke had trained her well in how to use the gun. She would, on the day of the shooting, tell the author of the letter that Luke had told her he wanted a divorce. What would follow from the electronic...
Oh, he wanted a divorce because he wanted to swing and bang.
Information would paint an even seedier picture. Luke had been seeing other women as part of the open marriage, and Cheryl had been seeing other men. In the week leading up to the shooting, though, Cheryl had informed him that she had 2 meetings or play dates set up with 2 different men. Something about that had been too much for Luke, and he had gotten upset about it.
What? Hold on. How you gonna introduce this shit to your wife? She get her rocks off and she get to meet up with 2 people and now you feeling some type of way. Come on, bro.
The pair argued through text, but apparently stopped talking to each other the day before the incident.
Damn.
Finally, at 3 p.m. on the day of the shooting, Luke texted her that he wanted to talk. While we know what happened after that, it was Luke's son that shed some light on what may have gotten Luke so upset. He wanted to set up a playdate with a woman, and Cheryl had told him that she wouldn't give him permission for this one woman in particular. Luke had told his son that he didn't care what she said and he was going to see the woman anyway. In the end, Cheryl would face charges of malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. She would be indicted on February 22, 2022, and come to trial on February 24, 2025, some 3 years later. After 2 days of deliberation, the jury could not come to a unanimous decision on the charges. A second trial would begin on August the 11th, 2025, wherein Cheryl Howell Coe would be found guilty on all 3 charges.
Damn.
She would be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of...
I mean, at least she get to be freaky in jail.
...parole.
She never really showed any remorse for what she'd done to Luke. The fact that her story changed numerous times up until cross-examination, her story changed again. She had planned 2, they called them play dates, within a week, and then said she also wanted to be with him, and he said that turned his stomach.
Cheryl is currently...
Facts. You want 2 of them in the same... You want 3 sausages in the same week? Damn.
...serving her time at the McRae Women's Facility in Helena, Georgia. There's a lot to wonder about the relationship between Cheryl and Luke Coe. Were they on a road to ruin, or was it just a misstep along the way, perhaps a statement that couldn't be taken back, a permission denied or granted? Some have questioned if this was premeditated murder, even if only considered for a second, or was it a heat-of-the-moment crime of passion, or could Cheryl's statement that it was an act...
What do y'all think it was? Do y'all think it was a crime of passion, or do y'all think she got mad because she had an open relationship? She started having her fun. He didn't like it. Then he said he wanted a divorce. And she's like, bitch, I'm 50 years old. What you mean a divorce? At 50?
Accidents born to self-defense and sleep be true. What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below.
Facts. Exactly what he said. Let me know what y'all think. Why did this happen? Do you think because they had outside parties involved? Do you think it was because he wanted a divorce? Do you think they was trying to have too much control of each other because she wanted to have 2 dates and then hook up with him or whatever? And then when it was time for him to go have fun, she rejected it. Like it's so much wrong with this shit. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. That was crazy. That was crazy. I told y'all that was going to be a good one. That's the popcorn of the night. When y'all see me get popcorn, just know it's finna be crazy. And the next video we got coming up after this, they got another video of that lady that acts like Carmen from South Park. So we're going to dive right into it. But thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all my supporters. That video is finna be premiering right after this. And that's it, baby. We out.